Looks like I'm gonna have to completely rebuild my Fire Necro. Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video we're headed to the world of Last Epoch. The good old developers from 11th Hour Games have officially bestowed upon us the changes coming for Necromancer for 0.8.3. And I have to say I'm a little sad. Not sad because I'm disappointed in the direction Necromancer's taken. They're going with it. I'm not sad about that. I'm sad that my staple, Old Faithful, Fire Necro, my first character, my character that I have at level 100, will officially be no more. I'm going to have to completely remake that character, and I've already got some ideas, but that build will definitely be changing for this next update. Now, if you didn't hear, I am now an affiliate on Twitch. And I've already streamed a little Last Epoch, and I plan on doing a little more this weekend. So if you want to support me, I'm actually going to be streaming with the wife tomorrow night. So that should be kind of interesting. Click the link in the description below. It is the first link, and follow me on Twitch. I would really appreciate the support. Okay, as always, I will share my thoughts. Please feel free to share yours in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe to support smaller channels. All right. Let's jump right into this. Right now, we are on the official Last Epoch website under General News, and I'm going to do everything in my power to not make this video boring, because it really is a download session and there's a lot of stuff I have to cover. I will do my best. If you want to read it for yourself, link is in the description below. So starting off with the idea, what they want to do with minions. Right now as a Necromancer in Last Epoch, not everything, most stuff is temporary. Now what do I mean? You summon a Wraith, it lasts for a little bit and then it dies. You summon an Abomination, it lasts for a little bit and then it dies. You cast a Dreadshade, then it goes away. Cast a different Dreadshade, then it goes away. You're summoning different minions and then you have to consume those minions. Everything is kind of for a limited time period, and they want to get away from that. They want you to be able to create your army, resummon them if an enemy kills them, but really then you're focusing on your own spells, your own curses, however you want to build it, okay? They kind of talk about how, and some people just want to make their minions and then run around and be kind of a lazy build, which, I mean, there's some people that play Necro that way, and that's fine. This is how they plan on accomplishing this. Wraith's healths no longer decay, but you are limited to only 2. Now you're probably thinking, that is the worst. Right now I have 40. 2's gonna feel like nothing. Hang tight, we'll talk about that in a second. Lone Watcher. Dreadshade no longer drains the health of the minion it is attached to and lasts substantially longer, but you are limited to 1 active Dreadshade. Okay. Age of Undeath. You can now only consume minions from the Summon Skeleton and Summon Skeletal Mage's skills to create the Abomination. However, the Abomination does not decay unless you control 3 or more such minions. So these are 3 different ways. Wraiths, Summon Abomination, and Dreadshades, where you can, with the exception of Dreadshade, it says it lasts longer. It doesn't say that it lasts forever. You can keep them probably for an entire echo, which is pretty darn cool. Lots of ideas. Now we're going to start with Summon Wraith, and I'm actually going to read this first part. Summon Wraiths has always been a difficult skill for us to balance. Combined with various source of additional Wraiths across skills and passive trees, you can end up with hundreds of Wraiths, which would push a lot of the mechanics over the edge and cause performance issues, especially in multiplayer. Because of this, we've made the decision to add hard limit to how many Wraiths, greatly increase their damage, and change the minions summoned by a lot of these incidental Wraith sources. So what they're doing is in the passive tree, it'll be like chance to summon Putrid Wraiths, chance to summon that Bleed Wraith, right? Blood Wraith. All of that is going to be taken out, and that is only going to be found in the Wraith tree. So you're not going to be able to trigger Wraiths with all these different skills and abilities only through the tree, okay? This is what I want to test. Like, so everything I read, the number one thing I want to test, I'm just telling you right now at the beginning, greatly increase their damage. They used the word greatly, not increase their damage, not a little damage, not big, greatly increase their damage. So now does 2 Wraiths feel like 10? Does it feel like 4? 20? Does it feel like another skeleton mage, right? So very curious what that means. There are also ways to change the maximum number of wraiths you can have, like Covenant of the Souls. You can control more wraiths at once, maximum wraiths +1, and you can put 2 points into that. So we don't know what the actual skill is going to have as its max, but you know you can at least go up 2. Now the rest of this is just talking about, again, how they pulled wraiths out of the passive tree, and you're not going to be able to trigger them any other way but in the tree, but you're still going to be able to have ways to make your wraiths cause bleeding, and that's through right here. Wraiths have a chance to cause enemies to bleed on hit. Bleed inflicted by wraiths has increased effect and duration. So if you still want to make that Necro build focused on your minions, focused on bleed, you can still do that with wraiths. Okay, so that's where we're at. We're now moving on to Dreadshade. We're going to go through Dreadshade pretty quick to get to Abomination. Now, what 11th Hour Games is saying is that through their statistics, most Necros and even non-Necros, which means Lich, are using Dreadshade because it's such a powerful skill. Now, what they want to do is make it not as powerful, which sucks because it's a nerf, right? But make it last a lot longer. So you don't have to continuously recast it over and over and over again and try and get it on the right minion because you don't want it to kill them, right? So now it'll last a really long time, but unfortunately it's not going to be as powerful. And I can attest to this because my Fire Necro used to use Dreadshade, and it really is an amazing skill. I only recently pulled it off because I was having so much fun with zombies. So take a look at this. Beyond Death. When a minion targeted by Dreadshade dies, you have a chance to summon Volatile Zombie from its corpse. So another way to trigger Volatile Zombie, and look at this. 25% per point, and you can put 4 points, which means you can trigger it 100% of the time. So that is very cool if you want to run Dreadshade with Volatile Zombie. But in that, it's kind of weird because you actually want the Dreadshade, I guess, to kill the minion because you want more zombies. Either way, it's kind of an interesting mechanic. And then Vile Ghasts. Dreadshade now increases poison damage instead of necrotic damage and converts added necrotic damage from the base skill and this tree to chance to poison on hit. So I don't think you could do anything with poison before with Dreadshade. So for sure that's new. You can now run Dreadshade and a poison build and it will work together. Pretty cool. I've got plans for a new poison build as well. Okay, so that's Dreadshade. You could read more about it in here, but that's pretty much the meat and potatoes of it. It's going to last longer, but not give you as big as a buff. Assemble the Abomination. I believe this is what's going to be coming to the Fire Necro for my new build. We'll see. I'm hoping I can still keep Wraiths, and I can still keep Flame Wraiths, and they're going to be strong, but we're going to have to see. On a more positive note, Assemble Abomination is receiving changes that should improve quality of life and make it feel less clunky to build a powerful minion with it. There has been a lot of feedback that the nodes on the tree to increase the speed of absorption felt necessary to make the skill feel good to use, but that was hard to justify making them when they meant that the Abomination would be so much less powerful. Due to this, missing out on nodes that increased its power. In response, we're rolling most of the effects of these nodes into the base skill and removing them from the tree. Yes. So that just means that very likely the base skill of the Abomination will absorb minions a whole lot faster. So you no longer have to waste points on the nodes there, which means you could use those on all the new stuff they're going to be doing. Make him stronger. Or her, I guess. One aspect of the Abomination that has been too powerful in the past is the node that increases its threat generation. This makes me very sad. Both this node and the similar one on the Bone Golem have had their values reduced. A staple of my Fire Necro is my Bone Golem, and it's a tank. It's actually why I've never lost a fight in Fire Necro Versus, because the threat it generates is so strong that normally I never get attacked. So I understand why it's getting reeled in, because it's so damn good, but it sucks because it's going to be another change for my Fire Necro build. But it's okay. We're learning, we adapt, and we get stronger. Though the Reflect on the Abomination node has been increased slightly to compensate. Yeah, but what about for the Golem? I don't use Reflect anyway, so that sucks. The Abomination tree has also been shifted around a bit. with different connections and power shifts to different nodes. In addition to this, 2 new nodes have been added. One was shown above, and the other gives it a new skill when it absorbs a volatile zombie. If a volatile zombie is consumed, your Abomination gains an explosive tail slam. Well, look at that. Interesting. So, I mean, obviously, just from a visual perspective, the Abomination already looks great. It's one of the newer assets of the game. If you compare that to the Golem, it's not even close, okay? But when I see this, I mean, if you've ever seen my build guide for my Fire Necromancer, I have a feeling you might. I think I've made it 10 times. I've now streamed it. It's great. It focuses on spell fire, spell minion fire. And I have a feeling that this tail slam is going to be scaled with fire and spell. And if that's the case, look at how large that thing is. And don't say that's what she said. This could be a game changer. Again, we have to test it. I like it. But then I gotta have to make the zombie to consume it. It's fine. 11th Hour Game says that skeletons are mainly used for leveling, but not endgame. They fall off pretty rapidly, which is totally true because in endgame, they just die very often. They're switching up skeletons a little bit. The specific changes is that the Tyrant's Legion node on the Necromancer passive tree is being changed. It now grants a maximum of +1 to skeleton, no longer increases skeleton damage or reduces skeleton health, also grants skeletons 4% physical and poison penetration per point, and you can have 5 points allocated to it. So this old Tyrant's Legion, yeah, what it used to do is increase their damage by 4%, but reduce your skeleton's health, and you can have +2 to skeletons if you put 2 points into it. So now you can have +5 to skeletons if you put 5 into it, and it's going to give 20% to physical and poison penetration. So if you're going little stabbies, that 20% physical and poison penetration, that's a pretty big deal. But you're going to have to stack tons of minion health if you want to try and keep your skeletons alive in endgame. So we will see if that changes. Last but not least, minion power. And this is something that I'm very happy about. The more generic change we're making to minion scaling is to minion power. Minion power is a mechanic we use to make minions stay more relevant in end game. Each 1% minion power grants them 1% more damage and 1% less damage taken. Both effects are multiplied with other modifiers. Here we go, you ready? Currently, all minions gain 0.5% minion power per character level, starting at level 21, for a total of 40% by character level 100. My character happens to be level 100. In 0.8.3, this is being changed to 0.6 per character level, starting at level 26 for a total of 45% by character level 100. This means that from level 51 onwards, minions will be more powerful at level 100. Then they will deal around 4% more damage and take around 8% less damage. Probably makes sense if I could read correctly. Your minions will be more powerful based upon your character level. All right, everyone, that's the video. If you've played last Epoch, I only have one question for you. How do you feel about the direction that 11th Hour Games is taking the Necromancer? Let me know in the comment section below. Again, I will be streaming Twitch tomorrow. First link in the description below. We have now reached affiliate. If you would like to support me, click that link and hit follow. I would really appreciate it. If you haven't joined the official Action RPG Discord, please do so. We're now over 1,000 members, great conversations every day. The idea is to create a gaming community that could jump from game to game together so you never start the server alone. Link for that Discord is in the description. I hope you all enjoyed this last Epoch video. Hopefully you were entertained or at least learned something. Aaron, out.